All right, we're live.
We call our November the 2nd, 2020 meeting to order. And Mr. Dennis, would you please lead us in our prayer, please?
I'll be happy to. Lord, we come to you today are grateful for everything that's blessed to us, Lord, the opportunity to be here, all the things that we enjoy day by day and opportunities we have. We thank you for the ability to come here and try to take care of the business of this county and all the citizens of it. Lord, we pray for your wisdom, your guidance, Lord, as we make decisions, that it would be beneficial to all concerned. And we'll give you the thanks for your leadership in the midst of it all. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. If you would, let's all stand, and we'll ask Mr. Blake if he'll lead us in our pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We want to welcome everybody that's here, and we're blessed today just to be able to be here and not have the COVID. That's a lot to be thankful for. And let's do remember Danny Phillips in our prayers. He's in the hospital and been real sick, but he's starting to recover, and we're thankful for that. All right, we'll move right along to 3.2, proclamations and awards.
Yes, Lord, we do have 2 awards today. So the first one is a resolution celebrating Crossley Farm, the 2020 North Carolina Small Farmers of the Year. Whereas Avery County is proud to celebrate Crossley Farm as the 2020 North Carolina Small Farmers of the Year, whereas Crossley Farm began in 2009, and whereas Cooperative Extension at North Carolina A&T State University presented the award to the Nottifers on September 30th, 2020, and whereas Crossley Farm grows greenhouse products and livestock in Avery County, and whereas Crossley Farm shares their farming knowledge with the community, now therefore it be resolved that the Avery County Commissioners hereby publicly recognizes and congratulates Crossley Farm as the 2020 North Carolina Small Farmers of the Year, adopted this the 2nd day of November, 2020.
I hear a motion that we adopt our resolution.
So moved. Second.
All right. Mr. Young made the motion and Mr. Phillips seconded. And Mr. Young, how do you vote?
Donald Young Jr. votes aye. Blake Vance, aye.
Martha Hicks, aye.
Tim Phillips, aye.
Dennis Aldridge, aye.
All right. We have another one.
We do, and we will get your award to you as soon as we get it signed. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right, and congratulations. Thank you. We do. We have a resolution in support of the ski industry for the 2020-21 season. Whereas North Carolina snow sports industry generates $228 billion annually toward North Carolina's economy. Whereas the North Carolina snow sports industry supports over 1,500 jobs statewide. And whereas there are 6 ski areas across the mountain region of western North Carolina, with 2, Beach Mountain Resort and Sugar Mountain Resort, located in Avery County. And whereas the ski industry of the high country is a sufficient driver of the local economy, and whereas North Carolina ski industry leaders from all 6 resorts are implementing operating best practices for as long as needed in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Now therefore be it resolved that the Avery County Commissioners hereby supporting the opening of the North Carolina ski industry season for 2021, adopted this the 2nd day of November, 2020.
I move we adopt. Second.
All right, Mr. Young made the motion and, Mr. Vance seconded. How do you vote, Mr. Young?
Woody Hall Young Jr. votes aye. Blake Vance, aye.
Martha Hicks, aye.
Tim Phillips, aye.
Dennis Aldridge, aye.
All right. And we're glad to say that we've got a full board here today, and, we'll move right along to 3.2B, public comments. Do we have anyone for public comments, Cindy?
No.
All right. We're still doing our meetings live because so many people have looked in on them and asked us to do that. And next month, we're going to move back up in our regular places, and we'll still be doing it live next month. All right. 3.2C, board appointments. We have some of those on the Agriculture Advisory Committee. I think we have
So
4.
attached, there are 4 applications for appointment to the Agriculture Advisory Board. Last month was a time for introduction, and so y'all have had a month to review those. It is Avery Foster applying for the Toe River District. Larry Smith is applying for the Newland District. Michelle Eggers Gardner is applying for the Elk Park District. And Nick Boone is applying for the Altamont District. These positions are all for 3 terms each.
All right. We can ask for one. We don't need to do them one at a time. We can just do one thing. Do I hear a motion that we appoint these for the Agriculture Advisory Board?
Move to appoint.
Second.
All right. Mr. Phillips made the move and Mr. Aldridge second. How do you vote, Mr. Young?
Woody Hall Young Jr. votes aye. Blake Vance, aye.
Martha Hicks, aye.
Tim Phillips, aye.
Dennis Aldridge, aye.
Good to see these volunteers for these boards, and we really thank them. All right, we're going to move right on down and take up some, we're going to do 3.3C, Tax Administration Report, Mr. Bruce Daniels.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
To start with, I would like to give you the monthly collections for the month of October for your approval at $1,473,685.73.
Move to approve.
Second.
All right. Blake Vance moved to approve and Tim Phillips second. How do you vote, Mr. Woody Hall Young Jr.?
Woody Hall Young Jr. votes aye. Blake Vance, aye.
Martha Hicks, aye.
Tim Phillips, aye.
Dennis Aldridge, aye.
For the month of October, we do have some releases for your approval, totaling $1,103.30.
Get there.
Well,
Saving them up, ain't you?
Just a little bit. Majority of those, I'm actually looking back to give you the numbers. It looks like 2 or 3 of those were rebilled to just clerical errors.
Move we approve.
all right.
Thanks a lot.
Do I hear
Second.
a second? All right. Mr. Woody Hall Young made the motion to approve and Mr. Tim Phillips second. How do you vote, Mr. Woody Hall Young Jr.?
Woody Hall Young Jr. votes aye. Blake Vance, aye.
Martha Hicks, aye.
Tim Phillips, aye.
And Dennis Aldridge, aye.
And as you can see, we're still seeing some extraordinary sales numbers. Obviously, October has tailed off from where August and September were at, so we're only at 155 qualified sales only.
Slacker.
Yeah, hey, it's just one of those where, we do what we can. So we're at 155 qualified sales 80% of the assessed value. So again, that's just showing that our appraisal is out of date, and the reval that we're working on right now is currently very needed. So last year, for comparison, we had 115 sales, which is a great month by most normal standards. Nothing this year has been normal. So the sales that we do have, we're grateful for, and hopefully we can continue with. Any other information I can provide?
If you've not been up and saw the tax office, you need to go visit. They've done a real good job. Yeah, they will. It's open now. You can go in and,
You can pay your taxes, no excuse.
We might not let you in, Mr.
but, they've done a nice job fixing the office up and protecting the employees and protecting you and.
All the credit there goes to Mike Gregg. He's the one that put it together for us, and did the work on it. Looks good, so.
It looks like an office.
It looks like an office. Now, unfortunately, we'll have to start acting like one.
Okay.
So.
I believe y'all do that pretty well.
Well, thank you, sir.
I wouldn't change a thing, any actions.
But it looks mighty nice. All right, you got anything else, Mr. Bruce?
Not unless I can do something for you. We're good.
I get to the inspections, I get to.
Come on back. Come on back.
All right, we'll move on down to our Economic Development Committee. Mr. Barrier, you...
Yes, we have an expenditure, so we've had our public hearing for the Economic Development Committee, and tonight we are to ask and get approval to spend the money on the ad that we will place with the Chamber of Commerce in the flyer at a cost of $495, and it is in the budget, and the board voted unanimously, the Economic Development Board voted unanimously to place the same ad as we had in the years past, so I just need your permission.
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, Mr. Phillips moved, and Mr. Woody Hall Young second. All in favor of $495 being paid out to do an ad for the economic development. How do you vote, Mr. Woody Hall Young?
All Young Junior votes aye. Wait, Matt's aye.
Martha Hicks, aye.
Tim Phillips, aye.
Dennis Aldridge, aye.
We really are thankful for our Economic Development Board, and we thank you, Melinda, over there for helping do the ad, and glad you're here today. It's getting back to normal. All right. We have a 3.3E, we have a contract that we need to bring before the board. We've had one, and this is just a...
This is to replace the prior contract that we had with the company, the Specialized Consulting Services LLC, to help with the FEMA and to do what they can to help with the CARES Act. After we found out a few things that FEMA had.
Just to clarify, I think the prior contract was for reimbursement funds that are paid for with the CARES Act, and this contract is for funds that come through FEMA.
Correct.
So that's why there were two different ones, and this one is just for fund reimbursement through FEMA.
We want to thank our lawyer for helping us out with that and straightening us till
That's why there were two.
That's why we had two of them.
That's why we have an attorney.
Yes, thank you.
Well, the state EMS attorney is the one who reviewed this as well.
But you have.
Yes, I have.
I hear a motion that we adopt this contract.
So moved.
Second.
All right, Mr. Aldridge made the motion, and Mr. Phillips, he seconded. How do you vote, Mr. Woody Hall Young Jr.?
Woody Hall Young Jr. votes aye.
Wade Vance, aye.
Martha Hicks, aye.
Tim Phillips, aye.
Dennis Aldridge, aye.
All right. We'll go right on down to 3.4. We'll ask Miss Ashley to go ahead and do the finance office report.
Okay, so the only thing that I have today, if it looks familiar, it's because it is. It's the last, that's what we went over at the last meeting. Whenever I was entering in that last budget amendment that we did, that has to do with the grant that we received from the Department of Public Safety for the domestic violence officer, I incorrectly have put in the whole grant amount, as I was looking back at another one as a prior example. But what we only need to account for on this budget amendment is the actual grant monies that we're receiving. So the grant that we're receiving from the governor's crime control is $49,377.59, and that's a credit to the governor's crime control. And then we'll be debiting the following line items. The grant salary is $35,917.80. FICA for $2,747.25. Retirement, $2,012.85. 401k, $1,677.37. Group insurance, $5,613.30. Cell phone, $332.77. Training, $225, and travel is $851.25. And we do already have the county's match budgeted. So all this budget amendment is just the grant funds we are receiving.
Do I hear a motion that we adopt the budget amendment?
So moved.
All right.
Second.
Mr. Woody Hall Young Jr. made the motion, and Blake Vance seconded it. How do you vote, Mr. Woody?
Woody Hall Young Jr. votes aye.
Wade Vance, aye.
Martha Hicks, aye.
Tim Phillips, aye.
Dennis Aldridge, aye.
All right. I think maybe we can get our manager's report. He's not got a whole lot, I don't think, today, so we'll let you go ahead, Mr.
I'll try my best to be
Barrier,
good.
and do your report.
So, first update I'll give you will be on the community building. Went up there this morning with Miss Martha. So, the dirt is pushed in front of the stage. Looks good, will look better. Little hiccup over the weekend, but that'll get fixed. Siding, they're finishing that up. I told them if they'd drag it out, it'd be warmer tomorrow. So, they actually said they were actually burning up. The heating should be on and working this week. The furniture's ordered, sound equipment's ordered, the monitors are ordered. So things are looking good and are on schedule. So, again, they let me know today that they plan on handing us the keys before Thanksgiving. So, we're looking forward to that. Bring you up to date on COVID just a little bit. Active cases in Avery County as of Wednesday night were 72. We do have 10 of our citizens in the hospital at this time. So let's continue to pray for those. North Carolina active cases they're down to 26,780 cases in the state. So that's pretty good. I have challenged our citizens, prison, everyone, we need to push and see if we can't get those numbers back down where we were 2 months ago. 2 months ago, we had 9 cases active in the county. I'd like to see that again. So 11/11 is the challenge. So by the 11th of November, we'd like to see those numbers back down. And all we know to do and all we know to tell you, meeting with staff, meeting with the health department, calling Department of Health and Human Services, is wear a mask, stay 6 feet apart, and wash your hands. That's the only defense we have. So I know we can pull together and do this because we're Avery County. We can do anything we need to do. So just keep that in mind. We have some Christmas trees that are headed to the White House tomorrow. They will be loaded in front of the courthouse early morning, and it will be taped and filmed for publication. So that will be happening tomorrow. This is not the big tree that goes in the main big room, but this is some of the other trees that go throughout the house are coming from Avery County, so very proud of that. I was out at the emergency management building last week and saw a 53-foot tree cut on a bed, and that was headed to the headquarters of Land's End in Maine. So very proud that our trees are getting recognized and out there. Tomorrow is the election. We will not be opening here for results, so I ask everybody to go online, go to the averycountync.gov website. On the left side of the page, you'll see Avery County election results. You just simply click that, and it will bring you up to date. You can watch any county, any of the results there. With COVID and everything going on, we just felt like it would be smarter to stay in our own homes and stay separated for those election results. That might be a record. That may be all I have.
Well, we would like to say we thank our county for going out, the ones that did, and voting early. We had over 5,800 and some votes done in early voting, and some of you already know that about everyone that was in the election board had the COVID, and it's just worked out so good over at the pool, and I still get thank yous when people sees me how well it was organized. Just go in and go through one door and out the other, and we've got a lot of recognition for doing that, because when it's up in the courthouse, that little room, it's hard to get them through, and we had about 13 booths set up, and it just, I think maybe the first day was the only day that people waited in line, and after that it just went like clockwork. And
The first morning I went over there, I was quite shocked at the line out the door. So.
yeah. And so we're so thankful that we can use things that we name as a pool, but we were able to use it and make it better for the people for elections. So, and we thank everyone that voted early, and then if you've not voted, we do want to see you out tomorrow and mark that ballot. And let's see, Michelle, do you have anything to bring before us?
I do not have anything that requires the board's attention, unless the board has questions about anything.
All right. We'll just go down and do 3.5, our staff reports and requests. Do we have anything there, Mr. Berrien?
We do not.
Okay. Do we have anything to come up in closed session, Michelle?
I do not have anything for the board.
Okay. We do have minutes. 3.7, approval of the minutes. We have the minutes for October the 9th and October the 19th. Our regular and closed session. Everyone's had a chance to read the minutes. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved. Second.
All right, Mr. Vance made the motion, and Mr. Woody Hall Young Jr. second. How do you vote, Mr. Young?
Woody Hall Young Jr. votes aye.
Mike Vance, aye.
Martha Hicks, aye.
Jim Phillips, aye.
Dennis Oliver, John.
All right, 3.8. Our agenda consent items. Everyone has had a chance to look through the consent items. Do we have any concerns or questions? If not, we will adopt our consent items by consensus of the board. All right. 3.9, informational items, you have those with you. And 3.10, we have meeting on December the 7th. And, that meeting is an important meeting. We elect our chairperson, our vice chair, our manager, our little old clerk over there, and, county attorney. We just make a book, and we do that on that meeting. And, in all, we've had a good year. And I think, Mr. Barry, we're talking about maybe December the 16th of having box dinner for all the employees
For our
and,
Christmas luncheon, it'll be really different, but it's hard to plan right now, but that may be the plan.
and it was
And I'll
said
let you
that
all
the
deliver.
commissioners was gonna deliver.
That's right.
So if you can be up here on
If
the
you
16th.
wear a tuxedo waiter's suit and show up.
We're gonna miss our Christmas
No.
dinner, 'cause it's not like it used to be. I mean, we had a good time playing Dirty Christmas, but our commissioners are gonna take care of that, and we'll still have a good time. We might not get to play the Dirty Christmas, but we will take care, and, we will have a little treat drawing for people, and, I thank all the commissioners that does that.
I did check on the rental for those tuxes, and they said they did not have them in the adult sizes that were required for this board.
Okay.
And didn't they say they didn't have a midget size? My brother always called me his midget sister, so we have to get the midget size for me.
Vacation that time, just get me in.
All right, we'll crack that idea. I'll come up with some elf costumes.
Show you what.
So, I need to go print something. I'll be right back.
Well, you hurry, you've
I've got
got
a public comment right here.
three.
So do you want to recess just
Yeah.
for 3 minutes until
We'll
we can
recess.
start our public hearing?
For 3 minutes, and then we'll start our public hearing, anybody that
And Ms. Hicks, I gave Philip a couple of dates for the observatory. You can pick one of either, you just let us know.
Okay, our sec-
14th and the 16th.
All right.
I sent those out.
Okay. Or, still in those dates, those 2 dates, still see it's really well. It's starting to get that time of year where you won't see many of the planets. And, Mr. Young, I know you were interested in, BLET, that's going forward to the state this month, with recommendation for us to start in, January.
I was gonna try to read this off my phone, but that's not gonna work.
we recessed it for about 3 minutes, but we've got about another minute, and we'll go into the public hearing, so.
Well, this is a loud crowd. Raucous bunch. Pepped up.
Thank We all need a nap, somebody
They're
get
all
up to the
fired
clock
up.
this weekend.
Might have been all that candy with Halloween.
Five o'clock.
They're like the Darwin.
Last week was
They're all fired up. Boys all keyed up tonight. Boys are all keyed up.
All right, it's, about a half a minute after 4 o'clock, so we'll do our public hearing. Do I hear a motion that we go out of our regular meeting into our public hearing? Go ahead.
Second.
All right, Mr. Aldridge, he made the motion to go out of our regular meeting and go into our public hearing, and Mr. Vance seconded. How do you vote, Mr. Woody Hall Young?
With all them Junior votes aye. Blake Vance, aye.
Martha Hicks, aye.
Jim Phillips, aye.
Dennis Aldridge, aye.
All right, we're into our public hearing regarding 2020 Community Development Block Grant for the Coronavirus Program. I'll turn that over to you, Mr. Brady.
So Board, I will turn this over to Mr. Coffey, who is here with the High Country Council of Governments, who is helping with this opportunity for something very exciting and very needed for our county.
Well, I'll just pick up where I left off the last time. The last time I was here, I told you about the program in general. And now we'll get a little more specific about what we're actually going to be applying for. Since the pandemic started, it's become apparent that adequate internet service is critical for students and for workers who continue to who work at home, and it's critical for them to continue to function. Students are not in classroom full time. Workers have been encouraged to work from home if they can. Doctors are encouraging telehealth visits. And so this all requires an adequate, reliable internet service that's not available everywhere. And so after looking at numerous options for how to use this grant funding, your manager determined that the best use of these funds is to expand broadband. And I think you probably had, did you include that map?
Yes, the map's in the back.
Okay, you've got the map in front of you. This would be to expand broadband internet service to the low and moderate income areas of the county, which is the darkest shaded areas of the county. And we'll have to work out some of the details as we go along here once we get the grant, if we get the grant. But the way this would work is the county would be granting a subsidy to the internet service providers, taking bids for, how much, outline a certain area of the county and say, well, how much do you need to run internet, broadband internet service to this part of the county or to this particular area. And the idea is to leverage as much private investment as possible. In other words, we want them to be putting some of their own money into it and not just totally public money. As far as the outcome of that, it's really hard to estimate, how many households would be served. We came up with 1,000 for this much money. That's kind of based on a past grant that the county has received, how many was served using with that amount of money. That's not set in stone. That's just an estimate at this point. And so that's a real quick description of what Philip and I have been talking about. And I believe you have a resolution and a citizen participation plan on the agenda that's related to this project.
Do we have any public comments that anyone like to speak on what we're trying to do? glad to see Miss Laws with us this evening. You know, she was a big part when she was commissioner on wanting the internet service go further in Avery County because we didn't have, and we have increased our internet service a lot more than we did have with Life Leap and with SkyBest, and this grant for $900,000, like he said, it might give 1,000 people internet, and that would be great if we receive this grant. And it would help the students, it would help the workers, where they can work from home. And, you know, I didn't ever think, my husband said last night, what did you do when you didn't have this? Well, what did we do when we didn't have the internet? We had to sit down and write letters and wait a week or two to get an answer, or a month, and now you can get an answer in a couple of days. So you see what it could do for Avery County. Has anyone got anything they'd like to comment? Melinda, you got something you'd like to say about the internet service?
It's getting better, like you said. We've come a long way in these last several years, so I'm just so excited about this opportunity. And we did find out, you know, we've gotten the other approval for the ARC, another grant in that area, so it's coming along.
I'm just glad to see this going on, because there is such big need, especially now. It was bad a few years ago, but it's a really bad need now. With the schools being closed, work being closed, I mean, people at home doing their work, kids are doing homework. It's a big deal right now, and I am thrilled to see this carried on.
Is there a percentage match to this? Was that not discussed?
We're asking for a dollar-for-dollar match from the company. So if we were to get the $900,000, we will have a committee, and we will, help me Kelly, we will ask for people to bid on that money, and it will be a dollar-for-dollar match from the company.
From the providers.
From the providers, yes, the providers.
That's what I'm saying.
We would ask the providers, so we're really putting in almost $2 million in infrastructure in the county.
So.
Your question if it's not a match from the county. You don't
Right,
think the
yeah. I understand that.
Match from the provider.
So if you get 900,000, that total amount is going toward broadband expansion.
Yes.
We're not using it for anything else.
Well, there's.
Besides administrative.
We have to do
Yeah, I
administrative.
understand that, yeah. Okay.
And we have 33 months from the date of the award. We have 30 months from the date of the award to get the project underway or complete. Okay. Complete.
One of the things that, when I was looking at this, that I hope, and I think this shared, is that while this is wonderful, this is a tremendous step, it is a step, but what I'm hoping is this will provide more of a bridge action to some development on top of this later on, that is not subsidized in this manner. So that's kind of one of the things that we're hoping to come out of this, is that it's an impetus to movement past these areas. You know, once maybe some provider gets into these areas and begins to seize the need, then they're able to expand out of that on their own dime to increase it too. So I'm hoping this will leverage into additional houses that will be reached and additional service points that are not provided through this particular action, but will be a result of this action.
And I assume it'll be up to each individual. I mean, will all this go, if say they get 1,000, will that be all the way to the home, or will that be a choice by each individual, or?
It'll be up to the individual.
Yeah.
I mean, What we'd be providing is access.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, let me ask you this, is there any plan while we're in the process of applying for the grant to also apply for someone to match, to do the work that's willing? Because if the grant's awarded, then you've got 30 months to complete it. You don't want to spend a year, 12 of that 30 months trying to get someone on board to do the work.
Well, Philip and I talked about the Council of Governments handling that. So we would do that as part of our grant administration. If you're talking about somebody who's going to be putting out the bids and doing the paperwork and getting all that.
But we'll start our request for,
But are you gonna wait until you see if the grant's awarded before you go to putting it out for bids? Because that's eating into your time of completion.
Well,
If I understand correctly.
Well, it'll be from the time that the contract is signed. I mean, there'll be a couple months after the award is made, or maybe not 2 months, but, you know, I mean, there'll still be a little time there.
I mean, I think for our time to be eaten up waiting for a provider to get on board to do it.
Right.
I think we'll have several providers. I've talked to several providers.
Right.
Mr. Burley?
Mr. Young, I've already been contacted by, West and then, and also, AT&T about wanting to do the 5G and get internet through that. So there's already, as Mr. Barry was saying, there's already, people know about this grant, and there's already people to take advantage of it. Advantage of it. Thanks, Elliot.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm sorry.
I have a comment on this. I need to read the whole. Okay, Ms. Martha, I do have one to read for us. To whom it may concern, I will begin by starting that I'm very proud to reside in Avery County, one of the extraordinary beautiful locations in western North Carolina. I have called Avery County home since my early childhood. Growing up in a small county, especially one so beautiful, is a privilege. My husband was born and raised in the small rural community of Plumtree. When making the decision to start our own family, there was no question that Plumtree would be our home forever. One could say that we put our roots down here. The Plumtree community graces residents with beautiful, peaceful Toe River, breathtaking mountain peaks, and neighbors that treat one another like family. Despite the undeniable gifts that the Plumtree community offers, regretfully, residents lack access to high-speed internet. The only current option for internet service is via satellite, and rarely is this service reliable and fast enough for modern use. It seems to be much more expensive than other faster and more reliable internet services. In days gone by, access to internet and cell phone service seemed crucial. This is simply not the case today. Limited or no access to internet presents a huge problem. The problem is much more serious than missing out on watching at least your latest season of a favorite TV series. The problem is in today's world, numerous tasks we complete in our daily lives are moving online, often exclusively so. Prior to the current pandemic, students were assigned internet-based homework. Tax filings, application for government programs, and employment applications are more commonly submitted online. When was the last time you applied for employment via snail mail? Factors in the recent COVID-19 pandemic and these problems are amplified. As a resident of Plumtree, we have no option to provide e-learning from within our home. We cannot participate in the virtual worship services, order groceries, and household items such as employment, apply for unemployment, and needed programs from the safety of our home in comparison to similar communities within Avery County. There is no acceptable reason why the children of Plumtree should not have the benefit of an optional virtual educational experience that their peers and other communities have. The families of Plumtree feel like our community has been left behind. To manage a household, to educate our children, and to conduct business remotely, residents of Plumtree desperately need high-speed internet just as much as we need power, water, and telephone. The COVID-19 era has proved that high-speed internet is a necessity of everyday life. As an involved parent, I want my son to have an equal opportunity of education. The lack of internet access hurts businesses, hinders education, and prevents people from getting jobs. We cannot continue to sit in Plum Tree, Avery County, and let the rest of the world go by. Please seriously consider our plea to bring high-speed internet access to the Plum Tree community. If it is within your power, authority, and means, the families of Plum Tree urge you to afford our community, our children, and the generations to follow equal opportunities to access high-speed internet. Sincerely, Haley I. Cook, 110 Cody Lane, Newland, North Carolina.
I'll have to say that I, not 99%, but 100% agree with Haley Cook, and I wish there was more we could do. And I mean, we need people to understand that we are doing everything we can do. We can't put the infrastructure in place. We do not have the legal authority to do that. But we're sure hounding everybody. It is extremely frustrating. I mean, we're doing everything we can within our power to do, and I think
to get these companies to come to the table. So
I think I speak for everybody on this board in saying that's one of our top priorities, and we are all in 100% agreement with what she says there. I just hope people understand it. We're doing every single thing we know to do.
I think people, like you said, people need to understand also that we cannot put tax money into it.
No, we can't.
Legally, we
not
cannot.
legally. And I wish the General Assembly would change that. I would love to be able to lay the infrastructure and lease it, which is what they used to be able to do in municipalities, but they can't anymore.
somebody cheated.
Yeah.
Messed it up for everybody.
A town, I can't remember what town, but somewhere in the Piedmont, somewhere in Charlotte area.
And I would say one thing, that if we do get the grant, we need to remember who has tried to help us get the internet. Some like Tommy mentioned and stuff has not tried, but SkyBest applied for 2 or 3 times for grants to try to help us.
Yeah, that's through that USDA, and they've gotten shot down twice.
And
Frustrating.
Greg down here at Radio Shack, he's done everything to help us, and there'd be more people in the county if we hadn't got where they're able at Radio Shack to do so. Let's remember who backed us when we get this money, and just not hand it out, because some people want to come in and take their bite off of it. Yeah.
I do want to extend a word of appreciation to High Country Council of Governments for their assistance in preparing this. They do a tremendous job in helping all the High Country area, and the offer for the help with the administration and the function of this is a tremendous asset to our area to have them giving us a hand on this. We appreciate it.
When is the application going in?
I hope we get it in by the end of the week, if not sooner.
Because it was a first come, first served basis, was it?
Stress that is a very low income area that, and the kids that's part of the county that really needs to be served. Yeah, it's just, can't stress it enough.
Because I'm a kid, we're making that here.
There's fiber in Plum Tree and up through there. AT&T has it there at the hub. While they don't offer it, I don't know. I went to them and was able to get it at the store. It cost me a couple $1,000s to get them, and literally the hub, I can throw a rock from the store to the hub. It cost me a couple $1,000s to get them to run it, and they're killing me a month. They're charging me $500 a month just for the service, just to run the car.
$25,000 a mile is what it costs to lay the fiber.
Yeah.
$25,000 a mile is what Country Cablevision told us that it cost to run, and that was what, you were on the board then, weren't you, Maxine? When was that, like five or 6 years ago? Yeah, so nothing's cheaper now than it was.
Well, the problem is you've got somebody like AT&T, when they've got it there, and they're literally bringing it from their hub to where my business is, we're talking 100 feet.
Yeah.
And then they still want to charge me $500 a month to offer it to me.
And then
offering to run it to my house from there as well for an additional $500 a month. that's where there's a big gap. I mean, if they have the ability to offer it, I didn't have no choice, I had to pay for it at the store to run the business. So I've got fiber, I've got it all right at the store and running, but had to pay to install it, plus pay the $500 a month, which is highway robbery. People can't afford to pay
That's not
that.
the only company down there that
Sounds like
did
an
that.
antitrust law.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Tom.
But we've got to have affordable, reliable internet for our citizens.
Well, I will say,
AT&T won't
That's
maintain
kind of
their
what I was
hubs.
getting at when I was asking the question about going to the homes. I mean, it needs to be where people can afford to bring it to their home. I know the infrastructure may be there, but the access needs to be affordable.
That might be something we could put in bid requests, you know, for them to specify how much we're gonna charge.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because affordable is key.
Yeah.
Keyword.
And like Dirk said, access is, one thing being there, but accessing it is another thing. Yeah.
And I will say, we install it all the time in Banner Elk area, and as far as access goes, as far as putting the fiber in and then people getting it, and working with folks, SkyBest they really do a good job.
Yes, they do. SkyBest was one of the first ones to step up,
Yes.
like 9-10 years ago. They came to the very, when we put out, come to the meeting, they came to the meeting, them and like 2 others, am I right? And some of the big names would not even come, would even come talk to us.
AT&T won't even talk to you.
Well,
AT&T hadn't even talked, why didn't even want to talk to
I
us
was
about it?
actually, approached by someone that said that lived down the river, said that they had been, SkyBest had contacted them about would they be willing to switch and use some SkyBest products, so.
And that was a lot of the things
Yeah.
back then. If you had it, would you be willing to, because if yours wasn't real reliable, would you be willing to swap with one that was reliable? Isn't that right?
Well, they have a lot of infrastructure in place, SkyBest does, that's close to these areas that don't have it. You can get to the powder mill, Roaring Creek line, and you got taps coming on down the rest of the county, so.
well, and another thing, I was here, it's been 8 years ago, because I've served as commissioner for 12, and I remember when Charter wrote a letter to the county, and they wanted no part of the county after they filed bankruptcy and stuff. They didn't want nothing to do with the county, and they've not tried to do anything. And there's a lot of line that could be done if they would have done it, but they wasn't willing, so they're the first ones I say, mark off of the list.
Can't really do that, but,
Yeah, I know, but if they don't want no part of it when you can do it, why, when you get something, do they want no part of it?
that's why it's a
That's
bid.
right, Ms. Marshall.
And
I just tell it like it is.
well,
I know we have to put it out for bid, but
And we could divide this up between 5-6 companies as long as they'll give us a reliable, affordable product.
I'm just grateful that we're moving from the hypothetical to the practical here. That's my.
Well, it's all dependent on us getting the grant.
and we did talk about several things to start out with. When we heard we could get it, there was 2 or 3 things that was being talked, and then all of a sudden, it was like something just hit us that the
I think
broadband
we're the
was the
only
most.
county that's applying through this grant,
The only ones that we're doing.
that's applying for internet.
And I believe Philip says they've asked us some questions and stuff or something. You made the comment.
Yeah,
So we're really trying, and it's like Blake said, we cannot put tax money in to doing the internet, and I wish we could, but we can't. So we just have to work with what we've got to work with, and we do thank you for offering and helping us fix the grant.
I think people need to understand that if there was an option that we could lay the infrastructure and lease it like there was at one time, I think that it wouldn't even be an issue at this point, because it would have been done a long time ago. I think that's important. I mean, I think that it's important to understand that if we could do that, we would have already done that. I feel pretty confident in saying that if it was an option, it would have already been done.
Absolutely.
Do we have any more comments? All right, if we don't have any more comments, do I hear a motion that we come out of our public hearing and go back into our regular session?
So moved. Second.
All right, Mr. Aldridge made the motion and Blake Vance seconded it. How do you vote, Mr.
Paul
Young?
Young Jr. votes aye. Blake Vance, aye.
Martha Hicks, aye.
Tim Phillips, aye.
Dennis Aldridge, aye.
All right, we have a resolution for Avery County's application for community development block grant funding for the COVID relief project.
Move we adopt.
Second.
All right, Mr. Woody Hall Young moved to adopt, and Mr. Tim Phillips seconded. How do you vote, Mr. Young?
Paul Young Jr. votes aye. Blake Vance, aye.
Martha Hicks, aye.
Tim Phillips, aye.
Dennis Aldridge, aye.
All right, we have approved the resolution. And let's see,
We need to do the citizen
Avery County
participation.
Citizens Participation Plan. Did we discuss that?
It's just part of the application process.
This is just a standard CDBG requirement that the county has adopted before when you've gotten CDBG grants. It's just basically saying that if somebody who's hearing impaired or something needs assistance, they can go to the manager and ask for assistance, and we'll work to provide it. That's basically the gist of the plan.
Right, we've heard about the plan, and I hear a motion that we adopt the Avery County Citizens Participation Plan.
We'll move. Second.
All right, Mr. Woody Hall Young made the motion to adopt, and Mr. Vance second. How do you vote, Mr. Young?
Woody Hall Young Jr. votes aye. Blake Vance, aye.
Martha Hicks, aye.
Tim Phillips, aye.
Dennis Aldridge, aye.
All right. We do thank everyone for coming for the public hearing and your insight on what we are trying to do. And now then, we'll go to 3.3A, Eagles Nest Holdings LLC, Vineyard Reserve Phase 2 subdivision approval.
Commissioners, I have no service.
Tommy, if you would, how about stepping over here so you can get on the camera thing?
Yeah, we want to see that.
All right. We don't have Mr. Stone with us or not? We're going
He's there today, he just seen how the world works.
Mr. Stone.
Educational trip.
Excited for, what are you, Stone, about 12? Excited for a 12-year-old.
Yeah. Well, from that page to this page. Dear Madam and Sirs, the Avery County Planning Board has done a final plat review on October 26, 2020 of the Eagles Nest Holdings LLC, Phase 2, lots VR 14 through VR 19, VR 21 through VR 23. The VR is an acronym for Vineyard Reserve. They found the subdivision to be in compliance with the Avery County Subdivision Ordinance. It was approved and passed by motion. The Eagles Nest plan is being presented to you today for final approval. It's been signed by everybody, the chairman of the planning board, the owners, road dedications. I believe you guys have a copy of it in your package there. Any questions to Mr. Buchanan?
just for orientation, these are still the ones across the gravel road up on the hill.
Correct, yeah. If you remember when we was out on tour where the winery was at, we went up that road and kind of come up on the top of the ridge, continuation of that road right there.
Down to the tree line that.
Correct, yes.
Right.
Yep.
Would be setting down here.
Correct, yes. Kind of between the big field we set in and going down towards Old Beach Mountain State Road. Yep.
How many plots do we have here that's gonna be sold?
On this, what we're looking at today, these are 9, total of 9 here.
9?
9 lots, yeah.
Okay.
What we're doing is bringing it in smaller phases. We went back and had a master plan done, looked at and approved, like the board had asked, and we're just doing it in small phases. I think the total on this VR was about 40 total lots. So we're about halfway through those vineyard reserve lots. So we'll probably see 2 more phases to clean that out. And on a side note from that previous meeting we have had approval from our POA for funding for the additional water source for a 30,000 gallon buried tank. And on another plat that is in planning board now, we got preliminary approval on. When we go for final of that one, it will have the location for the new water point for Eagle's Nest. That'll be in conjunction, kind of close to this area and kind of centrally located on a mountain where the fire departments had requested.
Would that be well fed or remote field?
That'll be well fed. Yep, it'll be
I
continuous.
think that's one of the,
Yep.
the code, bring it up to be used for standards as far as rating, it has to be well fed.
Yes.
Or continuous field.
Correct, yeah, the plan for that and what was approved through the board will have its own dedicated well, float system, so it'll stay 30,000 gallons at all times. If they need to use it, then it'll refill itself there on the spot.
Eric, what's the average size of these lots that you're talking about with this?
I think it says on the plat, I
Fairly
think
large,
these
about
are
one.
right about an acre
Yeah, a little
on
over an
these
acre.
9,
Like 1 point,
on each lot, yes,
they're
sir.
over an
We've
acre.
got some that are 2.7 and some that are 0.99.
Yeah, I think it averaged about an acre and a quarter is what the average was overall on this section.
Right. Just as a FYI, everything in Avery County is site-specific. Main thing is to get your driveway in, to be able, to get into the access. Once you get there, then the health department looks at it for a septic system, well. All of these items, infrastructure, require setbacks. Now, once you get those, now you look at where you're going to place your house. So, you may have as Derek shows there, 0.9 acres is a good building site. Then it may take another site, may take 2.7 or 3 acres to get all the infrastructure in because of our topography and our severe slopes and stuff. But that's the lots that people like because it has the panoramic view and there are some awesome views up there.
Yeah, generally we try to not be much less than an acre on the standard lot. Minimum's 3/4, but we try to not be less than an acre. But to Tommy's, what he's alluding to is we have lots in Eagle's Nest up to 18 acres, a lot of 10-acre stuff, a lot of 12-acre stuff, just because it's not good for development. Yeah, so it takes that to kind of get a drive in on some of them and a house site, so it's all kind of site specific.
I move to approve phase 2.
I second that.
All right, Mr. Vance has made the motion to approve, and, Mr. Phillips has seconded. How do you vote, Mr. Woody Hall Young Jr.?
Young Jim votes aye.
Blake Vance, aye.
Martha Hicks, aye.
Jim Phillips, aye.
Dennis Aldridge, aye.
All right.
Ms. Martha, if I can get your signatures on that. Work just for you back there, okay? Ain't as good as Martha's when she's driving.
I know, it's great. I like that one.
11 instead of 12.
Oh, I'm scared, ain't I? All right.
You ready to get this year over with, ain't you?
That's a paper copy, yeah.
That's good practice. That's fine, it's good practice on that, and then we'll set up for the records, and then what's the next?
We'll borrow your pen for the next.
All right, we'll move right along to, Blueberry Hill subdivision approved.
Is that where you get your three?
Yeah.
Yeah, Blueberry Hill. Mr. Daniel Kidd is, rating it's only 6 units, and when you do 6 units, and he's done it as a high-density PUD. The Avery County Planning Board has done a review of the Blueberry Hill subdivision, a planned unit development. The PUD subdivision falls under guidelines of section 404.4 of the Avery County subdivision ordinance, of which 22,000 square feet of green space per dwelling unit, total of 6, has been shown on the east portion of the plat and has been approved by the Avery County Planning Board. The final plat for Blueberry Hill Plan Unit Development was approved by motion by the Planning Board on October 26, 2020. The Blueberry Hill development is now before the Avery County Commissioners for your approval. Thank you for the consideration of this matter.
Move to approve. Second. Actually, discussion's supposed to come after the motion and second.
I just want to start voting here.
Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead with whoever's motion, second.
No, now your discussion.
I know, one of the things that was in, nothing against this particular, everything was done the way it was supposed to have been done, Daniel, as you put this together. But I was noticing, I was reading through the, minutes of the planning board, and the approval from the planning board was conditional on the well approval.
It's approved, I have the well approval in my.
Because I didn't have that, so.
Yeah. I can get you a copy, I mean, I've got it.
That's fine, I just want to know if that, make sure that had been addressed, that,
Yeah, it had to be, before they would finally, I had it at the last meeting,
Okay,
so I showed them that there.
okay. Because it appeared to be pretty close to a property line and everything there where the proposed was. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, Alan, he went out a couple of weeks ago and approved
Okay,
it.
because I didn't have that, and I had the
Yeah.
previous where that was a
Gotcha.
condition, and I just want to make sure that had been done.
Yeah, that condition has been satisfied, yes.
Okay, thank you. Tom, just curiosity, the PUD designation, is that a term that appears in our subdivision ordinance?
Yes, sir.
It is?
Yeah, it's there defined. It's a high density. If you want to do townhouses, condominiums, apartments, when the planning board brought it to the commissioners, of course, you guys approved it. We had a situation where, and it actually went bankrupt, which didn't bother me, excuse me, Lord, but they were going to take 5 acres and tap on to Banner Elks. They bought like space in Banner Elks wastewater treatment plant, and they're going to take like 5 acres and build like 75 units. It's all been low profile within the ridge law and all that kind of stuff. But every piece of the land was impervious. So God is my witness. It went bankrupt, and so went back to the planning board and said, you know, we need to do something about making these people not have so much impervious surface, because that's what we're about. Is maintaining green
trees, again, are your cisterns for your watershed, for your water table. And we need to have these green spaces with trees, and we need to have these, within our subdivision, or our erosion and sedimentation ordinance, what we do is maintain sheet flow. We have, the closest, and then Derek helped me write it, well, and that's been, what, 10 years ago, was Eric?
Pretty long time ago, yeah.
We have the closest crossover culverts on a road of any county in the state. What that does is take the water from the roads, crosses it over, and what we do is sheet flow into the forestry, into the timber. Because we don't want that water to be accelerated off the site and into rivers and get out of here. Because we all know with the impervious surface, and I'd say after this 3.5 inches of rain, I was really, I can only say happy, as I looked at Elk River and Limbo River, and I watch them constantly, and that how quickly they cleared up, and it looked good again, because we had 3.5 inches of rain this week. I mean, it's amazing to me. We've been very proactive about this stuff, about trying to maintain our environment and everything. So, the PUD here is 6 units, your green space is here. So, this is going to be, again, I think, more of affordable housing, because of what, 1,600 square feet, Daniel?
In that neighborhood.
In the neighborhood of 1,600 square feet. So you're looking, I don't want to price these out for him, but they're not going to be,
Yeah, they're
what's your high end?
more geared toward the middle income.
Right, middle
They're
income
not,
levels.
we're not building, the $700,000-$800,000 houses by any means. It's gonna be in the more to around the $300,000.
That's what I'm saying, yeah, I didn't want to have, I didn't want to,
Let you price it.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going to say, here, price his houses. No, that didn't, that wasn't going to work. That dog didn't hunt, as they say. But, yeah, the $300,000 range, which today, that's a good price point, and guys, and people can build a second home. Now, these homes are, as we know, VRBO is big in this area, and, renting them for Highland games, ski rentals, singing on the mountain and stuff like that. So that gives people a little bit of a opportunity to earn some income, help pay their mortgage on it, their financing, and also pay a little taxes too. So I believe it's a good thing, and I'm glad to see Daniel again, a local individual participating in the commerce of Avery County.
Thank you.
And if you look at your map that we have, Philip marked the wrong place. It's.
You'd have to bring it up.
Imagine that.
I got the question a little bit this morning and realized he marked the
Now, wait a minute.
wrong part. Michelle, you've looked over all this, and with the planning board's approval, you have any problems?
I mean, the planning board has reviewed everything and has approved it.
Okay. Yeah, we got a letter there, and we appreciate that, Tommy. That letter helps us to make the decision real quick. All right. We've had this Blueberry Hill brought before us, and the planning board has approved it. Do I hear? All right, we got a motion and a second. All right. How do you vote, Woody Hall Young Jr.?
Hall Young Jr. votes aye.
Wade Vance, aye.
Martha Hicks, aye.
Phelps, aye.
Dennis Albridge, aye.
All right. You have our blessings.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bless you, thank you. Appreciate you. service to the county.
Good, hurry, Blake.
Right up here.
There's already plenty of interest.
I was gonna say, it's a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Good time.
Just getting stuff to do, it's gonna be,
Yeah.
what'll take time.
Killing everybody right now.
Well, your dad will help.
Not right now, he won't. Not until middle of December. You don't get him to do anything. Middle of December.
We're backed up till March.
And all signed.
No, you don't have to sign them all.
The Mylar.
Yeah, this is the Mylar.
Very few days open, I mean, they're booked so fast.
Who's that? Oh, it ain't the fact that he don't have stuff to do, just nothing takes precedent over deer hunting.
Can we get a tour?
I mean,
Go there?
everybody knows that's his number
Start
one
about
priority.
what, 4?
You wanna see the Pine Bridge
He's all fixed to
area?
do some
Yeah,
rainstorm.
Can we get all that in?
A big oak tree fell on his cleaning shed. What he calls his cleaning shed, it's more or less a processing center. I mean, it's heated, cool, hot water, cold water, freezer, the whole 9 yards. Thank you, man.
You're welcome.
Before dark?
Thank you for your service.
I'll have it there.
Very blessed to be here. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Danny.
Yeah, so just let me know.
Okay.
All right, we have
We're going to then do
finished our agenda, and, like we've already mentioned, everybody go vote tomorrow that's not voted, and then we might hear in 3 or 4 days who we voted for, I don't know. But it's gonna be a long time wait.
Have we covered it all?
We have covered everything. We've talked about our Christmas things that we needed to discuss. And
If I can interrupt, and I'm sorry, if everybody will check their calendar for the 16th of November, to see if we could do our Malin tour, and go to the Yancey, and go to Pine Bridge on the 16th, and be there at 4 o'clock. So we would leave here.
It starts at 4
It's on
o'clock.
Monday.
Starts at 4 o'clock?
You got CDVG, don't you? Okay?
we can't, wait just a minute, we're having to discuss that, we're not gonna be able to do that. Cause he has to
You got
be,
CDVG. That's right.
I can't remember.
Oh, yeah, CDVG. My head's in the grant, sorry.
what was the other day?
We could do the, Saturday, the 14th.
of the Saturday.
What was the first one?
The 16th, that Dennis has a meeting that day.
I'd like to take everybody.
I'll be out of town on the 14th.
Yeah.
Well, Blake's gonna be out of town on the 14th.
So we'll check with some other dates and we'll get back to you. Okay? Sorry,
Okay, that's fine.
we'll get it.
The planets will be starting to disappear, you know, from view early December, so right now it's your best planets.
Okay. Check and see if we, any other time maybe that week, so we can, 16th.
Just that night.
All right, so Cindy's gonna get back with us, and then if we can get it together, Dr. Boyd will get back with you. We appreciate you trying to work it out for us, but sometimes it's hard when all of us is on different boards, but, we'll get back with you, and Cindy will get back with us. Are there anything else that anyone wants to bring up? If
I just
not,
thank Melinda for all she does for the county. Thanks, Melinda. Yes.
You're welcome, thank you.
all right, if there's nothing else, I hear a Motion that we adjourn?
Chair, quick.
We're not getting a new check.
WD-40 is making a noise.
It's a cuckoo clock.
Yes, that's exactly.
It may be him making that noise.
Yeah.
My neighbors.
Move to adjourn.
All right, so we have a motion to adjourn, and if everybody's happy with that, we'll go on Blueberry Hill.
We ain't going to Blueberry
It
Hill.
looks really good.
I'm going to Dogtown.
All right, so we've got all of it. I guess that's what happened in hibernation.
Keeping it along. Thank you. You look like me.
Started out with,